University Press Audiobooks presents Isabel Allende, a Chelsea House title, written by Tim Mcneese, narrated by Roxanne Hernandez. This audio edition is based on the book published by Chelsea House Publishers, an imprint of Infobase Publishing. Chapter 1. A Death in the Family. Christmas was just a few weeks away, but Chilean writer Isabel Allende was distracted by other events. The year was 1991. A plane had brought her to Madrid, Spain, where she had traveled several other times during the previous decade. At one time, these flights had taken her away from her home in Venezuela. More recently, she had come from her California hillside home in San Rafael, outside San Francisco. The reason for each trip was almost always the same. She was being sent to a party hosted by a Spanish publisher in honor of her talents, one that was being held an ocean away from the place she called home. The purpose of each party was identical: to mark the publication of Isabel Allende's next novel. This exiled woman from South America was a writer, someone who had finally found her voice on the pages of her works of fiction. She had spent her early years growing up in Chile, where her family had lived for hundreds of years. The daughter of a Chilean diplomat, Allende had lived in other parts of Latin America, but Chile had always been home to her and her family, one that included grandparents, a loving yet fragile mother, and a daunting yet approachable stepfather whom she referred to as tío, or uncle. She had grown up, married, pursued a career in journalism, had 2 children, and created a life for herself, one in which she longed to play the role of a Latin American wife, while using her writing to challenge the entrenched chauvinism of Latin American men. Isabel Allende did not mind all the traveling she had done in recent years, because the trips gave her an additional benefit: seeing her daughter. Her daughter, Paula, a lovely girl in her 20s, had moved to Spain, where she worked as a volunteer with underprivileged children. Allende was proud of her daughter and enjoyed her time with Paula more than the parties thrown in her honor. At the airport, Paula would be waiting, ready to see her mother, whose fame was growing with each of her books. This time, however, when Allende reached the airport in Madrid, Paula was not there to meet her. Concerned, Allende found her hotel, left her suitcases in her room, and rushed to Paula's house. There, she found Paula struggling with a fever, nearly delirious. Paula's husband Ernesto described his wife's struggle over the previous weeks. She had begun to feel weak, so he had taken her to the emergency room of a nearby hospital. She had been treated for the flu and sent home. Ernesto explained that Paula had been feeling tired and frustrated. Allende and Ernesto worried that Paula might be suffering from depression as well as being sick. As best she could, Allende consoled her daughter. Unable to do much more, Allende went on to her publisher's party. Dressed in an aubergine-colored dress and wearing a silver necklace with matching bracelets, she spoke to a crowd of well-wishers, fans, her publisher, and her literary agent, and explained to them why she had written her most recent novel, one based on the flamboyant, exotic life of her American husband, a lawyer from Northern California. All the while, Paula was still on her mind. As Allende spoke at the party, her literary agent approached and whispered that Paula had been taken to the hospital. Allende left the party and rushed to be at her daughter's side, sprinting up 6 flights of stairs. Paula was suddenly much worse than she had been even the day before. Allende canceled the rest of her appointments, interviews, and appearances. The most difficult year of Allende's life was just beginning. Allende's daughter Paula did not have the flu. She suffered from a disease called porphyria, an uncommon metabolic disorder that could lie dormant for years, but strike down its victims at any moment, poisoning him or her from within. The disease had attacked Paula with a vengeance. Paula was taken to the hospital on December 6th. Within just
Sample complete. Ready to continue?